Being in a relationship with someone or dating does not make you a man. You are a man before you start dating. Getting married and having kids does not make you a man. You're a man before you get married and have kids. Let's not confuse the two in the fact that being intimate with someone makes you a man. Rather, you are a man. That is why you're able to become intimate responsibly with someone else. Because this is what we have happening, where guys get into relationships, get married and have kids out of the wrong reasons, because in the moment, in the season of their life, they just didn't know what they needed to do. They just wanted to be validated. So they strung along the long grind, and at the end of it, when everything's so deep-rooted, they step away. And we have single parents, single kids with no fathers in their lives, and we keep repeating the same cycle. It needs to stop. You're listening to Journey to Fatherhood, a podcast that inspires and equips men to becoming more intentional and feeling more supported on the journey to fatherhood. Why wait to become a father before learning how to be a good one? My name is Chinedum Wenaya, a young man also on his journey with a desire to help men become great fathers despite their past personal experiences. I'll be sitting with different guests to bring you great value, sharing their knowledge and their experiences as we all embark on this amazing journey. This podcast, though targeted towards men, ladies, you will also gain great value from the conversations. Now, without further ado, let the journey begin. Hello and welcome to Journey to Fatherhood Podcast. It's Chinedum here. I'm your host today. And today is just me and you talking. It's just you and I. And I really want us to address a certain thing. The area of relationship, dating, and whatever you want to call it. One of the main things that we've had in the past, we've had a few speakers come. Last week, we listened to Ira Jackson Jr. Once again, if you haven't listened to that, if this is your first time, make sure you tune in, but make sure you also catch up on last week's episode, because I'll be making some references to what we talked about. Last week, we had Ira Jackson Jr., current professional football player, author, entrepreneur, along with so many things on his list of achievements. And whilst we were talking, we were asking ourselves, what is a man? And essentially what we do in the podcast is we try to understand the different stages, the hurdles, the struggles, the topics and issues that men face, and some of the questions that aren't quite answered in society for men on their journey to manhood, through manhood, to fatherhood. And I say this, it is so important because, of course, you think about it, to be a father, it's not a one-person thing. And so we need to ask ourselves, whilst we're preparing to be great men and whatnot, how do we then prepare ourselves for the next stage, which will ultimately lead to that blessing of being a father? Now, it goes very straight down to it. Before you become a father, you need to get to know someone. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted to address this today is because we're in May right now, May 2021. We're coming out of lockdown and, people are starting to socialize more. And I'm hearing so many people talk about, I've been isolated. I've been under the pandemic for so long. I need to get with someone. I need to be in a relationship. I need to do this and this and this and this. And my question always is to people is, what is the main drive? What is the core drive? Because I'll be honest with you, during the pandemic, there have been times where you think about, I've had so much time to think, and a lot of people have thought about how they want their future to be laid out, things they want to do by what certain age, this and this and this and that. It now comes down to, what is the root of your decision making? Now, this brings me onto this thing where I'm talking to people, and I always make it clear. If you are planning to create a future in which you have already decided how it looks like, what it looks like, a family, kids, wife, kids, and things like that, then understand what you need to do before you get there. The journey to fatherhood is not just for fathers. It's not just for men that are thinking about marriage. It's not just for men that are expecting. It's for everyone and every listener, both male and also many times females, that can learn from their young men in their lives. So I want you to, let's talk about this. Now, so many people get into relationships in and out. Unfortunately, it's sad to admit it, but the statistics show that about 50% of marriages end in divorce. And I'm not throwing this out there to discourage anyone. If anything, I'm an advocate for marriage, and I'm an advocate for building a wonderful, sustainable family. Where many men get it wrong, or where I need us to be more aware of, is what is the reason why you're going into that relationship? Let's not even talk about marriage first of all. That relationship, that dating relationship, what's the main reason? Why do you really get into that relationship? Are you just interested in the idea of a relationship, or are you genuinely interested in the individual? That's one area of it. Are you even ready for a relationship? Or are you just trying to cover something to validate you? Now, that's the part I want us to cover first. I remember when I was back in secondary school, in secondary school, at least for me, when I was growing up in secondary school as a teenager, what we had was guys would come up and say, yeah, I'm dating this girl, I'm going out with this girl. 2 months after, they change and say, oh, nah, it didn't work out. I'm talking to this girl now. I'm in a relationship with this girl. And it would go like that. And you come to realize that in one academic year, they dated 3, 4, 5 people. And the phrase is, nah, it didn't work out. We don't feel the same way. Cool. But now as you grow up as men, this ain't no child's play no more. And what I always ask guys when they're about to get into a relationship, or when they talk about that, and I have people that counsel me with this as well, because I'll be honest and transparent with you. I want to grow. I want to have a family at a young age. I'm 25 and counting. And I've always wanted to have a young family. I've always wanted to be a father with kids at a young age, so that I can watch them grow and all of those wonderful things that I know God will still bring apart. However, with that comes the desire of trying to, because when you think about it logically, if you want to have a family at a young age, you need to get in a relationship, you need to get a wife, you need to have kids, you need to get married, you need to have kids. And so the logical thing is, okay, I need to start dating. After dating, I need to get serious with someone. I need to do this and this and this and this. This is what I need to do in this particular order. But the question is, are you ready at the age you said that you want to get married? Are you ready at the age you said you want to get into a relationship? Are you even getting into a relationship with the right intention? What I mean by this is that I see so many guys that, and of course people can talk about females doing the same and whatnot, but I see so many guys that get into relationships because they just want to feel quote unquote like a man, or at least tick off that area of, yes, someone finds me attractive, or yes, someone finds me manly, someone adores me. And that validation aspect is what I'm really concerned about and what we need to address. Because when you go into a relationship with the desire to be validated, trust me, eventually, if that's the main desire because you feel validated, or you're seeking validation from someone else by being in a relationship, eventually you may receive that somewhere else. Or let's say when you do get in that relationship and you no longer feel validated, or for some reason your eyes go somewhere else, then it starts to quake, it starts to move further, it starts to break down. And then you find people going in and out of relationship, making emotional investments in and out. And before you know it, it's not quite strong enough in terms of the reason. It now becomes a thing where people get addicted to being in a relationship. Let me say that. Some people can get addicted to being in a relationship that once one relationship is over, they just want to hurry up and get into a relationship because they've never enjoyed a singleness. And MT on Money, Mike talked about this 2 episodes ago, I believe 2 episodes or 3 episodes, when he came in. Make sure you check it out. The episode with MT on Money. And we were talking about the beauty of the time of singleness, what you're meant to be doing in terms of forming yourself, being able to work on your purpose and things like that. However, what we find in society most of the time is, this is not always the case. There are some great men there. I have respect for a few people I know, and I see a lot of people that do it the right way. However, there are some men where they compartmentalize life. I think 2 years ago, I did a video on this on my YouTube channel, but they compartmentalize life where they put it in terms of career, relationships, family, in terms of relationship with family and loved ones, and the other one is status. So career can involve business, career, income, financial status, whatever that is. Relationships, course, dating and whatnot and all of that, romantic life, family, and then status, social status. So once one is not working, for example, let's say your career is going well and things with family are going well, and let's say maybe the relationship is not quite there, but the status is okay. People are okay with it because for them it's like 3 out of 4 works, you know. It's only, I've kind of got the almost full equation. However, some people, I know that sometimes when a career is not going so great, and let's say things are a bit rocky with a family, and they want to develop that status, they look for the relationship to increase their status. Now, there may be other motivations and all sorts of things where people just get into relationship because they want to post on Instagram, you know, with bae, hashtag with bae, or whatever you want to call it. That is important. That is an area we need to address. Because if you're simply getting a relationship because of the social status it provides, or the validation amongst your peers that it provides, or even your internal validation where you just don't quite value yourself enough because you feel that, well, my job's not going so great, let me get in a relationship so I at least feel, yeah, I'm a man. We need to retreat that. So what happens when you get the job and you're making a lot of money? Does that mean that, well, this person has served their course, or you don't need them anymore and you step away? Because we find people get into relationships, and unfortunately, in that season, in that time where they feel that, well, this person meets this need, they can even rush things up because of that same social status. They rush things, formalize, get married. And then eventually when things start to piece together, other areas of their life start to piece together, they now feel that, well, this person, I'm not really in love with this person, and we've fallen out of love. And unfortunately, it gets to a point where they've already had kids, and then they start to think about that. We then have people with single parent families, left, right, center. Granted, it happens with both genders, but today I'm addressing the men. And I want to encourage you as a man, listen, I understand that there are times where you just want to have a companion. You just want to have someone by your side. I completely understand that. But my question to you is then, how about finding a way to make yourself happy with yourself? Because the truth is, some guys are not happy with themselves, or don't even love themselves enough to think that they're enough. Granted, we are social beings. To have a family, it means to be able to live life with someone else, and a lot of people look forward to that. However, the area I'm really addressing today is getting into a relationship or getting married or having kids when there's truly no strong foundation behind it, and where it's simply a matter of, this person meets my current needs right now, I'll just manage. Because at the end of the day, those kids, that wife or that woman or that man that ends up being left broken, they have to rethink all those years. Don't make your decision to get in a serious relationship. Don't get married just because you want to be able to do that which the married people do. You can talk about it in any way you talk about, but the thing about it is, we also need to avoid a place where you're just getting into a relationship just because you want to feel validated. Do you know how dangerous that is? That is so dangerous because it puts you in a mindset where you don't even validate yourself. You now become dependent on what people think and who you're in a relationship with, or whether you're in a relationship or not. Now, this is a topic where I don't think we've dealt into quite a lot, because I know you may look at me, I'm not a relationship expert, I'm not a marriage expert, I'm not none of those things. I'm speaking things I can relate with, because I had to go through the time where I had to sit myself down and ask myself, why am I really, in essence, why am I desperate for a relationship right now? And let me be clear, there are times where you can want to be in a relationship and you're ready for that, and that's good. However, I also want you to make sure that the reason behind you exploring that relationship, or whoever it is, it comes from a strong place, and not just because you're bored, and not just because you need validation, or you want something to make you feel like, yes, you're a man, because she will not make you a man. What I mean by that, Her being in your life does not make you a man. You are a man and you are then with a woman. Because I think we need to reconstruct the social idea that, oh, he's a ladies' man. People talk about he's a ladies' man. He's a real man. He's a man's man. Where in terms of, well, he's in a relationship with this person. So what happens when that relationship is not there and you realize that, okay, well, it wasn't really from the right foundation. Being in a relationship with someone or dating does not make you a man. You are a man before you start dating. Getting married and having kids does not make you a man. You're a man before you get married and have kids. Let's not confuse the two in the fact that being intimate with someone makes you a man. Rather, you are a man. That is why you're able to become intimate responsibly with someone else. Because this is what we have happening, where guys get into relationships, get married and have kids out of the wrong reasons, because in the moment, in the season of their life, they just didn't know what they needed to do. They just wanted to be validated. So they strung along the long grind. And at the end of it, when everything's so deep rooted, they step away. And we have single parents, kids with no fathers in their lives. And we keep repeating the same cycle. It needs to stop. It really needs to stop, and it starts with you. You can make that decision, because I'm sure you know people that are in a relationship for the wrong reasons. Set your brother aside, set your friend aside, sit him down and address the real reasons, because at the end of the day, if he doesn't do it right, it's not just his life it's affecting. I say this because it's so important. We're coming out of the lockdown, the pandemic is wiping down, and don't just get crazy that, okay, well, I haven't dated anyone. I've been online. I've just been talking to people online. Now I need to get in a relationship. I need to be in a relationship. I want to rush things. Let me get married quickly. Take your time, my brother. Make sure the intentions are pure and correct. Again, I repeat, I am no relationship expert. I'm not coming here as an expert in any way. I'm simply here to have the conversation that you may not be having with yourself right now. Be honest with yourself. Don't attribute your manhood or your identity or your representation as a man by whether you're in a relationship or not, but rather attribute your ability to be a man from your responsibilities, your mindset, your self-awareness, your emotional intelligence, your ability to stand on what you say, on the right principles. Because we have too many single parents. We have too many single parents, and we can't be living life knowing all of these things. Some of us coming from families where we realize that our fathers did the very things that we are doing that didn't work out, but we're repeating it because we haven't sat down to really take time to change our mindset and not be influenced by what's trending or what's cool or what society deems as responsible. Being in a relationship does not mean you're a responsible person. Being responsible in a relationship makes you responsible. And we need to be clear with that. Please, we need to have this conversation, and not just have the conversation, but take action. Like, I'm asking you now, how often do you sit down and journal and actually think through your thoughts? Because I think that's where it comes from a lot, because I genuinely believe that there are guys out there that just don't know how to quite deal with their emotions, and because they don't have guys around them that they can talk to about how they're feeling, or they haven't cultivated that relationship with their male friends, they feel that the only way to express themselves or to talk about how they're feeling is to get into a relationship with a female. And that's not the only way to talk about how you're feeling. That's not the only way to address your emotions. Because a lot of people even do that and then get into a relationship and they don't even talk about how they're feeling. But they just want to know that, yeah, I've at least got someone. Be honest with yourself. Take the time, if you need to sit down, and the truth about it is, get into the root cause of your obsession over relationships or whatever it is it may be. It takes time. And sometimes you'll be writing down. I've had those times where I'm writing down things that I'm going through my seasons in life, and I'm asking and I'm looking right there, and I'm really just breaking down the equation and realizing the source of it. The seeking validation in other people. I've had to be honest with myself, and my coach has had that conversation with me where we had to realign and really address where the desire is coming from. This is not to say don't get in relationships. No. This is to say make sure your mindset is right when you're getting into a relationship and being intentional. I think that's the key word, being intentional. Don't just go through the seasons because, right now I'm feeling I want to have someone that I could go movies with. Or I just want someone that, I could go bait. Come on, man. You're too grown for that. You're too grown to just have someone to be in a relationship just because, you're old enough. Come on. Don't get so crazy with all the wedding pictures you're seeing and all the marriage pictures you're seeing that you rush a relationship that you're currently in because let's get married quickly, what are we waiting for? No. Take your time and really reflect on what needs to be done in terms of the work you need to do in yourself. And it's not a one-day thing. The work carries on over time. I'm not saying you have to sort out everything in your life or know every deep thing before you decide to take the next step, but at least be active in the work you're doing, because when you're actively reflecting on your true intentions, when you're more self-aware about yourself, then you start to uncover, so that's why I do this. Okay, so that's why I talk to people like this. And don't be leading ladies on. There are guys out there that generally don't even care about the girl, but they know that the girl's interested in them, and they're just saying things to them, even though they put them at a distance. They're just saying things to them to make them feel like, she likes me. Okay, so what? Is that why you're stringing her along? But you're not really interested. And you get into the habit of where you eventually say, okay, I know she wants me, and let me get into this relationship. After all, I could tell her it's not working. Why do that? Why do that? Why do that? I'd rather you sit down, plan out your goals, but also have a journal or someone to talk to. Create a community of friends, male friends that you can open up to. Because there's a thing about opening up to females, because it's easy to get intimate without realizing it's just because you're talking about emotional things, and it gets blurred. Build a community of male friends that you can sit down and talk about what you're going through. The anxieties, talk about that. The childhood traumas, talk about that. The impact of your father growing up, talk about that with your male friends. Do the work in you, that you're not dependent on being in a relationship, or you're not dependent on a woman to do that for you. It's important this gets through our head, because at this time I'm seeing kids in their teenage years that don't even know what's what, trying to rush things in relationships. We need to make a conscious effort to avoid the mistakes of our fathers. We need to make a constant effort to be better. Because what's the point of going through all the pains of your childhood, or going through all the pains of things you witnessed with single homes and men that have deserted their kids, men that have left their family, their wives and things like that? What's the point of watching all of those saying, I will never do that, only for you to repeat the same cycle? Stop right now and sit down and ask yourself, this relationship I'm running after, why am I really going after it? She may be an amazing person, everything's on check, character and all of those things may be great, but ask yourself, at this stage of my life, why am I going into that? Is it because I'm seeking validation from something else, or is it because I'm very intentional about taking this all the way? And this is not to say that things may not work, things will always work out with who you're dating. You could be dating and eventually you find out it's not working out, it's not going to go further. That's cool. But don't go into a relationship because you're seeking validation, or you want to be able to go to your friend's house with your girl just like all of them do. Come on. You're too grown for that, my guy. Let's get to the point where we can actually pull our brothers up, pull our male friends up and tell them, listen, sit them down and say, bro, you need to calm down. Why are you really interested in this girl? Why are you really interested in a relationship right now? Talk through those things, because this is a lot of the reasons why some guys don't talk about things and they get in trouble, and those very same male friends of theirs are the ones calling them, oh bro, you did wrong, but they weren't even there to ask the questions before you go into a relationship. And I'm not blaming all your friends, I'm asking you, what are you doing? What are you doing right now to make things better? What are you doing? Because you think about it. You go to school, we go to school all our lives to learn and be educated in areas of our lives. You know, you listen to maths, you read math, you read up on maths, you get your equations out of the way. English, you even find out the history of the poets and stuff like that. You got history itself. You got all these subjects you study. You study so you learn from the past. Engineers study so that they learn how to improve the future. Engineers study so that they can make inventions that make life better. So why not study yourself and your history and all these people else that have made these mistakes in their lives so that you can make your life better and not the same as the past? Every year we get a new iPhone. They've improved and tweaked something better. Why not tweak and improve yourself every single day? It's possible. And a lot of the reasons why we don't do it is because it's tough work. It's a lot of work. But the things that require a lot of work most of the time are the things that actually need to be given more attention than anything. Don't be cruising from one relationship to another relationship and say, oh no, I'm just not finding the right person. Ask yourself the question, am I doing the right work in myself? Am I the right person? And I'm not trying to have a go at the guys. I'm trying to just encourage guys to really do the work. You go to the gym, you lift those weights. That's tough work because you started off lifting 30 kg and now you're lifting 50. You had to progress through it. But why not sit down and take the time to go through that mental work that needs to be done? Ask yourself, listen, what is the main reason behind this? Because a lot of times guys are seeking validation because they never got it from their fathers and they don't even realize that. They don't even realize the source of that. They're seeking validation from a woman to make them feel like a man, but they don't realize the very root of it was because they never got validation or really got that attention from their fathers. It could be anything for you, but make sure that you at least know where you're coming from. If you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going to. And some people know where they're coming from, but they don't do anything about the present. So the future is unplanned. Please, let's take responsibility, because I'm tired of young men coming to me and saying, well, my father was never around. And you are going to be a father one day or another. Don't just go with the vibes. Please, I am pleading. Listen, if you're listening to this, you're not a guy, you're a female, and you're in a relationship, ask your man, what's the real intention? Why do you really want to be in this? Because we need to check our brothers up, because at the end of the day, one person is going to be affected, and that person could even be more than one individual, because everyone else will have to deal with it. Don't rush into a marriage to make yourself feel like a man. Don't do it. Don't rush into a relationship because you want to be known as a guy that's dating, because you want to change your Facebook status to in a relationship. Come on, man. You just want to be in a relationship because you want to change that, because you want to take away the single status on your Facebook and now say in a relationship with. Are we really still seeking social approval when it comes to matters of life? This is an area and a topic and a subject that really burns me. Can I be honest with you? Can I be completely honest with you? I have days where I'm thinking to myself, wow, it sure be nice to have someone I'm dating go to the cinema with. Eventually, I know I will find the right person. Eventually, I know I will be in a relationship with someone that I will be intentional about. However, in this moment, I'm doing the work to better myself. And I'm not just talking about building my money up or doing this and this and this, because that gets confused with working on yourself. I'm talking about really reflecting on my thinking. the logic behind my thinking, the inspiration behind my thoughts, the influence that I have around me. Because if you're not aware of who you are, you don't how can you invite someone to a life where the person living the life doesn't even know what they're doing? So my brothers, I know today's episode probably sounded like a rant, but this is also me. I speak to myself because I have times where I really have to check myself. Chinedum, the way you're talking to this girl right now, is that the right way? I'm completely transparent and I'm being honest with you. I have male friends I can talk to about this. I have male friends I call up and say, listen, bro, this is what's happening. And I trust them to be honest with me. And I trust them to tell me the hard truth. Listen, Chinedum, stop talking to this person that way. They're getting the wrong intention and all that. And be clear with it. But the thing about it is that the truth that can save can be very well the thing people run away from because they know it's right, but they want to stay in the lies that they give themselves. Listen, my guy, I'm telling you, you are enough in yourself right now. The Bible says it's a wonderful thing where two come together to become one. It's not halves. It's not two different halves that come together to become one. Two full individuals come together to become one. Don't wait for someone to complete you. Come on. And I'm not saying you can't have female friends, you can't have all of it. You can have those things, but be intentional with the stage you're in. Be intentional with decisions you make as it pertains to relationship, dating, and even marriage or childbearing. This life you're living, it's amazing. But your life can also influence others. And I know you can say, well, it's my life, I'm going to live my life. Your life is valuable. That's why you need to see the value in it. And I really want us to start having more conversations where guys sit down and really ask themselves why they're doing things, as opposed to saying, well, when he fails, I'll talk to him about it. No, come on. If you truly care about your male friends, if you truly care about the men in your life, if you're even a woman, listen to this right now, and you have a younger brother or older brother, or you have no male friends that are acting up, sit them down and talk about it. Because we have the same issue where we're so quick, like Ira Jackson said it last week in a podcast. He was talking about a lot of times where people see people doing the wrong things that they don't say anything. But when it gets to a certain level, they now start the cancel culture where they're saying, well, this guy has been so bad. But you saw him heading that way and you didn't try to sit him down and really get him to come to his senses. Boys will be boys. Throw that away. Forget that. Men take the true decision to take accountability for their decisions. They make the choice to say, yes, this is why I'm doing this. Let me understand exactly what's inspiring this. You want to know what a man really means? That is what it means to be a man, to take accountability for your decisions. You're not a man by how much money you make. You're not a man by being in a relationship. You're not a man by knowing people. You're a man by the ability to be self-aware and execute on the things you're aware of. Execution is the key. You can listen to this and feel like, oh, this guy's just in his feelings. He's just angry. But trust me, a lot of young boys or a lot of young men are angry out there with their fathers because their fathers didn't think things through. So don't get into it unless you understand why you get into it. And with that, I know it's been one heavy for the ears, but I just want to encourage you. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back and really evaluating things. Once again, I'm going to say it again. You are not a man by being in a relationship. You are not a man by changing your status to dating or married. You are not a man by any of those things. You're a man, and then you do those things. You becoming a man means that you're self-aware of your decision. You know the true course, and you're able to address the deeper things and take responsibility. Let us address ourselves first. And I know it's going to be tough, and I encourage you to power through. really taking time to work on yourself, because you deserve to work on yourself. You're doing yourself a favor by working on yourself and not just going by impulse, because impulse is short-lived. So let's make the right decision right now. If this episode has helped you, please share it with your male friends, share it with anyone you know, even your female friends, because they may know someone that needs to hear this. Share it with anyone you know. Share this podcast episode with anyone via the video format or the audio format, whether they want to watch it or they want to listen to it. But let's get this word out. And let's truly be our brother's keepers. It's Chinedum here. I've been your host at Journey to Fatherhood. I just want to say thank you again for joining me today. And whilst you're here, I just want to let you know that starting from the month of June, we're going to be having an episode streamed on Wednesdays, and we're going to be having Q&A sessions on Fridays. The Q&A sessions can take place live stream where we have a guest on, or we have questions coming in, or we simply may take it to Clubhouse. We'll have a room there. But however, all of that will be announced next week's episode. But for right now, it's still Fridays. However, in the month of June, we'll start with the episodes coming live, going up and being available to watch and listen to on Wednesdays. And then Fridays, we have an open live audience session. So with that said, I just want to encourage you. You've got this. It may be a tough journey to embark on, but that's the journey to fatherhood. And I'm here if you ever need to talk. Feel free to connect with us or write to us on Instagram at Journey to Fatherhood, or message us on Twitter at J2Fatherhood. That's J2 Fatherhood. Alternatively, just write us a message. Leave a message in the comment section or either on YouTube or any of the podcast listening platforms. And remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Journey to Fatherhood. And follow us on all podcast listening platforms. That's Spotify, you got Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to this from. Please get connected with us. We really want to hear your thoughts, and leave a review. It's Chinedum here. It's been an amazing pleasure. Thank you. The music is produced by Ayub, aka Londu. Make sure you check out his music. And in the meantime, have an amazing day. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.